Greetings, dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen. This is this dialogue, which deals with current issues and which also features individuals whose life history is exemplary to youngsters in Ethiopia and on the continent of Africa. And in this regard, my guest today is Assefa Adefris, who has traveled to different parts of Ethiopia, who has also traveled to different countries across the globe. So we'll be talking about his autobiography and also his life as Ethiopian and also as a person living abroad, and his other books, which are all available on Amazon. With the program, I'm Shifara Alaka. Do stay with us. All right, thank you so much, sir.
It's my pleasure to have you here. It's wonderful to be interviewed and tell my life history.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, let's talk about the book that you wrote about yourself, your autobiography, which can be translated as From Bachuma to Virginia. In that book, you try to eloquently describe your life history, the ups and downs, and other issues that are really wonderful, captivating stories worth, I think, talking about. So I want to hear from you the very reason as to why you came about writing your autobiography, of course, apart from telling about your wonderful life.
Well, as I indicated in my book, my life started in a very bad time. And the way I was, the time I was born, and the way I was raised, and the way I traveled from one place to another, it was a hard time, and however, we overcome it. Yeah. And since then, I really struggled to be a man. Whom am I today? Every human being has his own history. If we write, we can learn from each other. Mm-hmm. But most of us don't write our history. I was born in the small city called Gogli, a little bit about 15 kilometers from Mojo, mm-hmm. towards Samasanbat. Then, when I was 40 days old, I traveled to Bachuma, a place called Bachuma in Kafar province in the former administrative in the MCI region. I raised there. I just, I didn't even speak Amharic then. I was speaking only the language that is called Shuro. Shuro means, you call them we Shangilas. I consider myself as a Shangela. I just read there until 8 years of age. Until 8 years, I didn't speak Amharic. I used to speak Shangela, which is Shuro, and I speak Kafinya and Gemira, which I forgot now, unfortunately. Yes. But I am better than ordinary Ethiopians to hear what they say, to understand them, at least to ask my directions, where to go and how to communicate with people there. Then I came back to my birthplace, and then I went to Nazareth. I went to elementary school at a Galadi school. I finished my school there, and then I just moved ahead.
So you traveled to different parts across the country before you went overseas?
I traveled all over Ethiopia, all over. I'm not assigned by the government or helped by someone else, but it was my decision to know my country. I went from south to north, from east to west, and I have been all over Ethiopia. And, I speak some of the language, like I speak Kafinya, I speak Romania, I speak a little bit Tigrinya, for just communication sake. So I'm not a stranger for my country. I am an Ethiopian. I consider myself Ethiopian. Ethiopianism means there is no ethnicity, except we created it. We are the same people. We are Ethiopians. It doesn't matter where we were born, whether we were born in south, north, east, we are Ethiopians. So it's a language. The language I just tried, every language I have been in the countries.
Obviously, this is covered in your wonderful autobiography, and also you traveled overseas where you lived in different countries. We'll come to that later on. But talking about Ethiopianism, in your autobiography, you wonderfully describe Ethiopianism. You say that being Ethiopian goes beyond language, goes beyond culture.
Exactly. Yeah. Ethiopianism means really the most civilized people on earth, believe it or not. We think the industrialist countries and developed countries are civilized. That is not civilization. Civilization is humanitarian situation. Everywhere you go to south, you go to north, you go to east, west, everybody loves each other. Don't look the current political situation. The politics is different, but the Ethiopianism is different. In Ethiopia, you can go to Sidama. They will invite you, hey, come and have a coffee, eat and drink and so forth. Come in, just stay here. You know, you go to north, they will wash your feet, they will give you room to stay.
The culture is still there.
Yeah, that is a civilization. That is a civilization we call.
Yes.
We are civilized people. We are much better than a nation that 1707, the British civilization and the British industrial situation started until 1707. You can imagine the northern Ethiopia, the southern Ethiopia. You go to Aksum, you go to Lalibela, you go to Gondar. We have those buildings. Who built it? We were the civilized people built it. Even though we have been denied by those who consider themselves as a civilized people, like Western world. The Western world is just not. Of course, thanks to Romans and Greeks, and the others are called the British or called Germans, Americans, are really industrialized, not civilized. A civilized people loves each other. A civilized people will invite. Can you imagine an Ethiopian eating alone? Somebody comes, oh, come and eat and share with us.
Yes.
But it's not in America or in England.
That's wonderful. Also, talking about ethnicity, you come from different ethnic backgrounds, from Oromo, from Amhara and others. And you also describe yourself as a typical Ethiopian, because Ethiopianism, as you wonderfully said, goes beyond one ethnic background, one cultural background, right? Explain that to me, please.
If you go back to our history, let's say the Aksumite time, we were in Aksum. Every Ethiopian was in Aksum. And then the Aksum was so small, you cannot help everybody because of the economic situation. The population is growing, so the people came out of the Aksum, and all those people who came down to the Amhara, to Gragi, to Kafa, to wherever, they are from the same mother and father. It is a geographical situation. It's not ethnicity. We are the same people. It doesn't matter who you are, who I am. We are Ethiopians. Of course, the geography, you go to south, it's a different language, different people, but they are the same people. You can imagine if you have read my book, I just have a picture of different Ethiopians I brought on the book and to show that Ethiopians are the same.
Yes.
One is from Salale, one is from Harar, one is from Kafa, one is from Goja. All of them are in my book. You cannot differentiate which one is Ethiopia, which one is Goja, which one is Tigray, which one is Amhara. So we are the same people. it is good that we are very diversified people. That our diversification gave us so much different knowledge, different experiences.
Talking about your book, of course, the ideas are all wonderful, all captivating, if you will, and really admirable. But what struck me the most was the part that you talked about the airplane hijacked. So at that very moment when the guy said in English, as you eloquently said, this airplane is hijacked, you bravely confronted him, the guy with a loaded gun, you with your bare hand, and he fires that and he hits your arm, I think. So can you specifically tell me that particular moment that you confronted him?
It was December 8, 1972. I was flying to France. I was invited by the French government to visit different farms because I was in farm business. And those young people thought I'm a part of a military or part of anti-hijacker, but I was not.
And you were not informed either?
Yeah, but they were following me. I didn't know. When the airplane started flying, after 20 minutes, and I was writing a note, and the guy came and just stood in front of me and asked me, hands up. The aircraft is hijacked, hands up. And emotionally I said, so what?
Yeah.
And he insulted me. And as an Ethiopian and the son of a great Armenians, who fought in Adwa, who fought in Maicho, who fought in Ogaden. Yeah. And I'm son of those people. And I brought that way. I'm not really coward afraid of anything. I have to stand up. It doesn't matter. Dying is nothing to me. Even today, I'm not afraid of anything. So I just jump up and hold his hand. And the first bullet went on my right hand, and my right hand was just divided into two. Then the anti-hijacker called by the name Hailu, he jumped up, he hold both of us, and we both fall down. And then they separated us, and the struggle of me and the guy is finished in there. So I already fallen. And then the bomb exploded.
On the plane?
Yeah, exploded. And part of my body had been injured by a bomb. One of my eye had been damaged by fragment, the bomb fragment, and God saved us anyway. Yeah. We were in 40,000 feet. The airplane went down 15,000 feet. The pilot was a great pilot, Captain Kasala, and he just came up and told us that the airplane is under control, don't you worry, we are going back to Ethiopia, back to Addis. We'll be landing safe. Because we are flying with two engines only, because one engine is damaged by the bomb fragment, so we are using only two. And then we came back and we landed in Addis.
Wow, that's something that's so brave, and also that's a miracle.
It's accidental situation, excitement.
Let's move on to the other issues. What's the main reason that you had to leave your beloved country?
Well, I was very. Let me just promote myself here. I was a very dynamic, energetic young man then. I was in my late 20s. Okay. I became known in the country. In fact, I became known internationally. I started exporting agriculture products to Middle East, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and so forth. And I was invited by the French government to visit different farms in France, right. And I was on my way to. Then I came back, as we discussed before. I started again my business, and then I called The Derg government, I don't call them government, they are scavengers. The scavengers group came, they killed, as you know, many, many productive people, educated people, who helped their country, who fought for the country with Italians, who kept us free, who gave us freedom. And those people have been killed in one night. Seeing that, I cannot fight with them because I have no power. I cannot live with them. Then I have to go. I have to go. I just left everything I have. I went to England. I went to the United States first, and then I came back to England for 3 years. I lived in England for 3 years. Okay. So that's the main reason why I went is I hate Derg. I really hate Derg. They confiscated my business. I have no business. Yeah. They took my money from the bank. Okay? They took everything. So just I have nothing to do with this. Am I going to beg on the street? Okay, if I don't do anything, either I have to accept them and just serve them, or to be a beggar on the street. So I didn't do both things, and just I left my country for I thought for some time, but it is more than that actually.
Yeah, obviously. So you resorted to leaving your homeland, your beloved country, and you went to overseas. So tell me, please, what are the challenges, the ups and downs, and also the opportunities?
Always you have to be a determined person to do things. If you determine, you can afford whatever problem comes. You can overcome it. So thanks God I didn't see so much problem because I was hardworking. People were trying to hire me to send me to Middle East. The first job I got was in England. One company hired me, and they sent me as a representative to Saudi Arabia and to Middle East. And then I make a little money, and then I try to take my kids and my wife. Then I had 3 kids. Now I have 4 kids. Then I took them out. So I'm successfully lived in America, lived in England, moved around the world actually. I'm very successful, thanks God.
What lessons can Ethiopians take from your life, be it those living here or be it those that want to go overseas?
First of all, one has to believe on himself. Second, he has to be trusted person and trust people. Mm-hmm. Confidence. And really to be very free man. Free man. Nobody is better with anyone else. Nobody is less. Wow. The thing is that makes you less or more is in position, yes. In education, yes. One is upper, one is lower. In position, one is up, one is lower. But as a human being, there is no one greater, one lower. You have to decide what to do. And that decision, you don't have to wibble from one place to another. Okay. Just you have to, really I have to do this. This is my aim, you have to go on. It doesn't matter whether you succeed or not, just keep up. Keep going, and then you reach where you need to do.
Wow. That's really something to be applied to people's day-to-day activities, because persistence, determination, as you said, are some of the great factors for a person. Let's move on to the other books that you wrote, and in that book, every page you turn, be it in one way or in another, it shows how Ethiopia is a rich nation, how Ethiopia has been endowed with different blessings and gifts. And also, I think there's this inability, if you, so to speak, or lack of, determination or things like that. Because of those factors, Ethiopia, as some say, is not where it is, or some call it poor. So what are your overall observations when it comes to Ethiopia's blessings on the one hand, and what has Ethiopia lacked, and what's remaining, what should be done?
Well, what really burns me as an Ethiopian to see Ethiopian Young people are searching for job outside the country and ending up in the ocean for fish dinner or lunch. Yeah. That burns me. Ethiopia is the most richest country, if not the only one, but one of the richest country. We have the soil, we have abundant rivers, we have young people to work. Of course, we have educated people since 1923. Thanks the Emperor Haile Selassie, Emperor Menelik made these people to be educated. Because education was not known before 1901. Yeah. Since 1901, the first school was Menelik School, and then the second one started, I think, in 1919, Tafari Mukone School. And then all over Ethiopia has high school, elementary, and so forth. We are educated, we have educated people, so-called intellectuals. In my thought, Ethiopians learned just a theoretical, not really practical. Everybody wants to be in the office and to be minister or to be director or to be supervisor. Nobody wants to be down and just work hard. Mm-hmm. That system has to be changed. The government has to really change the system. System is the most important instrument for the development of the country. You cannot go all the time by telling a story. You have to do things yourself. If I am a farmer, I'm a farmer. If the other guy is a mechanic, he has to go to there and specialize on that. We don't have to look somebody's hand to give us something else. It is shame. Year to year, we are begging money from America. A small country who became yesterday, in 1948, a small country, Israel, we are expecting some aids from Israel. You can imagine yesterday, 1948, 1945, it was nothing. They became a great nation. Yeah. Okay, they are just fighting with all their enemies and just winning because they are strong, because they are united, because they are cooperative. The cooperation, understanding, unity is the most important what we should know. We should convince ourselves and do things. Yeah. So Ethiopia is the richest country, but we are not using. Can you imagine? I just planted all these trees about 11 years ago when I came first. Wow. Look at what it looks like. We never took. Of course, when it goes up, so we cut the leaves and just we live there, and it look without taking care. Can you imagine one tree cannot grow in the United States or in England without taking care every day? This is a country, fertile country. We have a river, we have soil. Why are we poor? Just we have this has to be answered by the government.
Let's scale this up to continental level and talk about Africa is also in the same situation, in the same narrative is being applied. The same narrative that's being applied on Ethiopia is also being applied to Africa, and Africa as a continent is a great and rich continent, as you know. What's your message to Africans? What should they do?
It's very, very funny. What really makes me laugh is I don't want to call the name of the African leader who had a very big mansion in the French island, where his people are begging for a bread. He has a multi-million-dollar mansion in France. The leaders of Africa should come to their mind and do what they should do. They are there, it's not because they are better than anyone else, because everybody cannot be a president. One has to be a president, because they have been chosen, elected to lead the country, to lead their people. Yeah. Instead, The moment they are on the chair, they become different people. That has to be changed. The young Ethiopians, the young Africans should consider this, try to ask their leaders to come to normal situation, to change the circumstances they have been doing. The leader does not mean a master of the people. The leaders are the servant of the people, not really the leader. We are the taxpayers are the one who pay their salary. You can imagine how many Land Cruisers do you see in every office today? That Land Cruisers money, millions of dollars, could serve different things. Yeah. Okay? So are they really helping people or just helping their family? That is a question that should be asked all African leaders. Our young people should really start thinking, not fighting, not killing. Killing is just stupidity. And educated people cannot kill people. You know, what really we should understand about the Africans are until 1960, the Africans were not free. We fought for them. Yes. Ethiopia fought for them. I went honeymoon in Kenya in 1960. Wow. We were traveling, my wife and I, from Nairobi to Tanzania. And we were black people, and there were so many white people. And then the hostess just jumped us. She passed us and serving the others. Whoa. And I was so mad. I just pulled her and just slapped her. Then the airplane was disturbed. I'm telling you the truth. That was 1969. Then they come, finally they understood, they realized that I am an Ethiopian. A person from he's an Ethiopian, just leave him. They asked me, they apologized and they left me. And nobody touched me because I slapped her, because she abused me and I slapped her. So they left me. So we didn't even know this. Recently I was in Namibia. I was in the restaurant eating lunch. And there was another countryman eating there. The woman came to serve him. He called her, "You're stupid." Then I got mad. Why do you? She said, "Yes, my master." Had it been in Ethiopia, the Ethiopian young or old woman would say, "Who the hell are you telling me this?" But that experience of unfree, being colonized people, still she thinks that she is a slave. Look, we have the freedom for a long time, and we have never colonized. We are confident to challenge people. Okay, if person comes peacefully, friendly, we are friendly. But if someone comes I am somebody else, we don't give a damn. That is Ethiopian culture. That is because we were free. Yeah. You see, you cannot insult an Englishman in his country or an American man because they are free. They don't know what, there is no psychological problems that they can think, oh, who's this? We Ethiopians are Ethiopians, which we don't know. Particularly the younger people don't know this much. I know this. I'm proud to be Ethiopian. I'm very, very much proud to be Ethiopian. And I'm an Ethiopian. It doesn't matter what. Wow. Yeah.
Ato Assefa Adefris, thank you so much for your wonderful ideas.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, dear viewers, with that, we come to the end of today's program. Thank you so much for having been with us so far. Until I see you next time with another program. It's goodbye from me, Shfaralak. Take care.